Hello and welcome to Todd Rolls Dice, where we're once again venturing back into Ghyran, and yes, this time it really is going to be the Gargants. The Sons of Behemat have some big new ideas. Let's find out what they are. So today's lore drop, not today's, I suppose this is like Tuesday's lore drop, I'm so far behind, is Lewis. So hopefully you've already seen it, but if not, you can check that out on the article, it's linked below. But we're not here for that, we just want the rules. So what do we have? The first thing to lob into the mix is a couple of new formations, the Man-Skittle Mob and the Big Toes. The former love to play games, hurl boulders, trees and bits of building at anything smaller than them. This formation makes Sons of Behemat armies decidedly dangerous in the shooting phase and will definitely encourage your foes to keep their heads down. Big Toes prefers regular-sized Gargants, one of whom thinks he's a bigger deal. Other Gargants fight harder in his presence, but only if there are no Mega-Gargants watching, of course. I didn't realise there were Gargants and Mega-Gargants. This is another faction that I know nothing about. I think somebody said there was 2 new models in this picture, but I know nothing about this faction. We can also throw in 3 new heroic traits, all of which display aspects of their destructive nature. Grabby Mega-Gargants are particularly clean on nicking stuff, as in objectives, that doesn't belong to them. A Mega-Grump is especially stubborn, even when seriously wounded, they just stay standing. Lastly, there's the terrifying Hulk. Literally no one wants to charge them. The Kraken-Eater is a new war scroll, having travelled to Ghyran for some good eating. He's wanting that calamari. Not only is he a bit more stompy, but he can also lurk beneath the waves or in a suitably deep swamp, ready to emerge when the time is just right. They've turned a Gargant into the Watcher in the Waters. We do have a General's Handbook fact as well, so fact number 7. There are 12 new battle plans in the forthcoming General's Handbook. I feel like we already knew that. All of which key into the realm of life where this season of war is set. The missions are wonderfully unique and some of them require you to capture terrain pieces as well as objectives, while in others, the importance of objectives changes throughout the battle. Nice, obviously objective focused, which keys into what we've been seeing with the rules recently. Noxious Nexus is arguably the most unusual, as both players deployed at one end of the battlefield and fight their way to the other end, while the most victory points can be scored at the end of the battle. There's quite a lot to the new battle plans, so we'll be taking another look at them in a few days' time. Aside from their love of spilling blood, tomorrow's Scourge of Ghyran offering couldn't be more different, from colossal barbarians to nimble killers. See you then. We've actually already done that one. Daughters of Cain is up. In fact, I'll tag it at the end of this one if you're interested in Daughters of Cain. We also have the Seraphon and my favourites, the Slaves to Darkness, have both been dropped since I've been away, so lots of catching up to do. But how about we get into this one? Faction rules, Sons of Behemat. Battle formations. The Man-Skittle Mob. It's a once per turn army shooting phase ability. Strike! Ha! Declare, pick up to 2 friendly Mega-Gargant units wholly within 3 inches of any terrain features, and pick any friendly Gargant units within 3 inches of any terrain features to be the targets. So 2 friendly Mega-Gargants and any friendly Gargant. Effect: double the attack's characteristic of each target's ranged weapons for the rest of the turn. If the target has no ranged weapons, pick an enemy unit within 12 inches of the target instead, and roll a d3. On a 2-up, inflict an amount of mortal damage on that enemy equal to the roll. So it's giving you a shooting attack if you don't have one. It's only d3, but d3 mortal. The other one is doubling when you're close to... So it's like picking up a boulder and just hurling stuff, isn't it? Okay, I suppose that wants you to build. I know you can do it without having a shooting attack, but it wants you to build into shooting attacks. And if you position your whole army right, you'd probably be able to get that off on all of the Gargants. That's quite nice, isn't it? Just as an isolated thing, that's pretty nice. And Big Toes, it's a once per battle deployment phase ability, Lofty Louts. Declare, pick a friendly Man-Crusher Gargant unit to be the target. Effect: for the rest of the battle, I'd want to hit rolls for combat attacks made by friendly Gargant units that are wholly within 12 inches of the target and not wholly within 12 inches of any friendly Mega-Gargant units. Can you build a Sons of Behemat army without any Mega-Gargants? Because you'd really be able to utilise that then, wouldn't you? But still, I mean, +1 to hit combat rolls is nice. Yeah, like I say, I know nothing about this faction, so you're gonna have to educate me in the comments, but they sound good. I just love the narrative idea of Manskittle Mob, but yeah, they sound pretty good. Our heroic traits: big personalities, hero only, grabby, it's a combat passive effect. I'd want to hit rolls for this unit's combat attacks that target an enemy unit contesting an objective you do not control. Okay, it could be useful. Well, obviously it's going to be useful because it seems like this new General's Handbook is pushing us towards capturing objectives. Our second one, Terrifying Hulk, is a charge ability, I think. Once per turn reaction, your opponent declared a charge ability for a visible non-monster enemy unit within 12 inches of this unit. Effect: if this unit is not in combat, roll a dice. On a 3-up, you can change one of the dice in that charge roll to a 1. Just denying a charge? That's strong. And Mega-Gargant is a passive, what's green? Is it just a general? Effect: this unit has a 5-up ward when it has 25 or more damage points. That's a lot of damage. Are these basically like Titans then? Knights and Titans and things, but in Age of Sigmar? How much health do they have? 35 health on the... okay, right, so let's take a look at the War Scroll then, that might answer some of the question. So our War Scroll, the Kraken-Eater Mega-Gargant, 10-inch move with a 4-up save, 35 health and 20 control. Ranged weapon, hurled debris, range 24-inch, 3 attacks, hits on 4s, wounds on 3s, 1 rend, d3 damage. We have 3 melee weapons, so the Shipwrecker War Club is battle damage passive, but 4 attacks, hits on 4s, wounds on 2s, 2 rend, 5 damage. Fitting. And it's battle damage, so that means that while the unit has 15 or more damage points, the attacks characteristic of its Shipwrecker War Club is 3, and the unit has a control characteristic of 10. So you lose 1 attack and halves your control when you're at 20 health or less. That's a bit brutal, isn't it? The Spine Shattering Stomp, anti-infantry +1 rend. Rend again. There's so much +1 rend in these. 4 attacks, hits on 4s, wounds on 2s, 2 rend, already 2 rend, so up to 3 rend against infantry, and d3 damage. And Death Grip, anti-hero +1 rend. 1 attack, hits on 4s, wounds on 2s, 2 rend, but against heroes it's +1, so 3 rend. d6 damage. That's nice. The damage output seems quite swingy, apart from the club, of course. We have 4 other abilities. First one, Sons of Behemat. Effect: if the unit would be automatically destroyed, it is not automatically destroyed. Instead, allocate 6 damage points to it. Ward rolls cannot be made for those damage points. Okay. Another passive, Longshanks. Effect: this unit can pass through models in non-monster units and parts of terrain features that are less than 4 inches tall. It just keeps walking. Your movement phase, emerged from the deep. Declare, pick this unit if it's beneath the waves, which we'll figure out what that is in our next ability. Effect: set up this unit anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches from all enemy units and wholly within 9 inches of a battlefield edge. And then that links in with Lurking Beneath the Waves, which is a once per battle army deployment phase ability. Declare, pick this unit if it's not been deployed. Effect: set up this unit in reserve beneath the waves. It has now been deployed. So it just gives you that pseudo deep strike style. Keywords: hero, monster, destruction, Sons of Behemat, and Mega-Gargant. Lots of health, lots of control, potentially high damage output, nice abilities. I'm guessing Son of Behemat might not actually do a huge amount, depending on how much damage is allocated, I suppose. Doesn't have a ward, which surprises me. It seems okay, but I don't know what it's up against. I don't know what the other units are like. Definitely the deployment stuff is cool. That unit is 480 points. Regiment options: not to 1, eagle out any Sons of Behemat. 480 points, that's almost a quarter of your army. Okay, let me know in the comments what you think. Let's see, because we do have their faction pack. Does it have a War Scroll? Yes, it does. Right, let's have a little look, let's compare. So the Kraken-Eater from the standard faction pack War Scroll, 10-inch move, 4-up save, still no ward, 35 health, 20 control, no change there. Range weapon, hurl debris, 24 inches, 3 attacks, 4s on 3s, 1 rend, d3 damage. Melee weapons, Shipwrecker War Club, 4 attacks, hits on 4s, wounds on 2s, 2 rend, 4 damage. less damage. And battle damaged, when this unit has 15 or more damage points, the attacks characteristic of its ship record club is 3 and the unit has a control characteristic of 10, so no change to that bit. Almighty Stomp, 4 attacks, hits on 4s, wounds on 2s, 2 rend, d3 damage, anti-infantry +1 rend. And Death Grip, 1 attack, hits on 4s, wounds on 2s, 2 rend, d6 damage, anti-hero +1 rend. No real changes there. We've already gone over the battle damage passive. Son of Behemat, if this unit is automatically destroyed, do the 6 damage. Okay, so that's the same. Longshanks is also the same. Maybe they're just Mega-Gargant abilities then. So our command phase ability, once per turn army or hero phase, get off me land. Declare pick an objective within 1 inch of this unit to be the target. Effect, roll a dice. On a 2-up, move the target d6 inches to a new position on the battlefield, more than 1 inch from all models. Terrain features and other objectives. That objective is treated as if it were in the same territories as it was when it was first set up on the battlefield for the purposes of the battle plan. So you can just move an objective up to 2d6 inches. That's insane, actually. And a once per turn combat phase ability, stuff 'em in me net. Declare pick an enemy unit in combat with this unit to be the target. Effect, roll 3 dice. For each roll that is at least double the target's health characteristic, 1 model in that target unit is slain. Keywords, hero, monster, destruction, Sons of Behemat, and Mega-Gargant. Very different abilities, and that war scroll is 450 points, so a 30-point difference. What do we think? I think we're in a situation again where they're just very different. I really like being able to move an objective if that goes off. On a 2-up it probably will. I really like the deployment options with the Scourge of Ghyran war scroll though. Is he worth the extra points? He does more damage. Well, he does 1 pip of extra damage, the rest of it is still the same. I think this is where you've got to look at the nuances between the war scrolls, which is something that I can't do because I don't know the faction and how they play. I think each war scroll has some fun stuff. I think I prefer the other one just for that objective shenanigan. But I do like this stuff, that emerging from the deep is really cool. Yeah, okay. I mean, there's fun stuff here. Like always with these, do let me know what you think in the comments below. On the whole, I really like the battle formations. I think there's merits to Big Toes, but Manskittle Mob is just brilliantly hilarious. I think the heroic traits are useful. A 5-up ward, when it would probably go on a Mega-Gargant, so when it's got 10 health or less is nice, because it just gives it a little bit of extra, I mean it's stubbornness, but extra ability to stick around. Terrifying Hulk is really nice, and it's once per turn, so you can do it every turn, which is nice. And Krabby is, again, just a nice objective contesty thing. Makes you more killy on objectives you don't control, which means you will then control them and you can move around. I suppose you've got to have a unit that's going to move around and be trying to take objectives instead of just holding them. I think this is pretty good. I don't know what it's up against, but just as a first introduction to the Sons of Behemat, I quite like this. But I'm deferring to you guys, let me know what you think. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.